Hello, how's it going, folks?
Good evening.
Hello, can you guys hear us loud and clear?
Welcome to our live chat on Thursdays at our AM HQ, actually.
Let's do a little bit of sharing.
Welcome. It's actually a pretty good night. It's not too bad. I hope everything is well with you. This is Anime Matsuri's live stream on YouTube. Please share. If you haven't done so, please like and share and subscribe to our channel. The more the merrier, actually. That's how we can gain some more support here. Welcome. We're here in Houston, and it's a lovely evening, actually. We're about to get started in a little bit. This is our live chat, if you notice. We just talk pretty much about anything and everything that's going on, and also what our plans might be for Anime Matsuri 2021. So, as you know, there's still a pandemic going on. So welcome. I'm Deneice Lee. This is John Lee, and we are the founders of Anime Matsuri. Welcome to our stream. All right.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you.
Airman, Tyler, Glenn, David, welcome. Thank you again. You guys are amazing, like just joining us every Thursday. All our live streams, actually. Appreciate it. I just got off of a PTO meeting. Gosh, I have to give props to all the teachers out there once again, because they are making things happen for the children right now, whether it's remote or in-person teaching, okay? It's incredible what they're doing for our kids out there and the next generation. Is anyone in school or in college or, studying right now? How are you doing it? Let us know. I'm very curious as to, are you doing things remote? Are you going back in person? Are you waiting it out until this whole thing is over with to go back to school? What is going on? There's so much happening in our crew. So we have a very diverse, let's just put it that way, staff and different positions. So I'm talking about like the regular job, right? This is our full-time job, actually, running the convention. But several of our volunteer staff behind the scenes are nurses, doctors, my gosh, lots of teachers, actually, accountants, lawyers. So we have a varied, diverse atmosphere here at our HQ once in a while, from wrapping cars to, making cookies.
Absolutely.
Our staff is very diverse and
Absolutely. And we're
spirited.
And we're lucky. We're lucky to have such wonderful people that are part of the Anime Matsuri staff that work hard all year round to bring you the awesome convention that it is. Thank you, 88R man. Yes, I love this shirt. Yeah, Mecha King Ghidorah. It's awesome. Thank you so much. I know.
Teachers are the real MVP. Tyler
They are.
says.
They are. They are the real MVP. I mean, it's a challenging time. So everyone's. I think most people are just doing their best, and to adapt to what's going on right now, it's pretty challenging, especially for frontline workers, teachers. I mean, teachers now with all the kids
And also props to all the grocery shop handlers and employees. Gosh, they've been at this since the beginning of the pandemic, with the frontline workers. I mean, I consider that frontline as well. All the truckers out there driving. I mean, there's a lot of people like has constantly, of course, healthcare employers and employees. It's just been an amazing time. Amazing is what I'm saying. You have to give props to those companies and businesses that are able to adjust to this pandemic as well. There's so much that that needed to be adjusting. I mean, we for one had no idea this was going to last this long. We touched on this last time. We are going on 9 months of the pandemic next week, guys. 9 months. Can you believe it?
And we hope it'll be over soon because this is 9 months too much. We would have never thought it would have lasted this long. But here we are 9 months later, and it's still going on. Well, but there is good news. The good news is it's slowly coming to an end. So we still have,
Well, it's going to be a little bit more, but we'll see. Hopefully. Like sooner the better, right?
correct. I mean, the big question, the question in our minds when we have our meetings all the time is, so after the pandemic is over, how do we, what's next? Just imagine, let's say in January, hopefully January, February, somewhere around there, beginning of the year. By that time, for us, we would be about 4-5 months out to the convention, right?
About 5, yeah.
About 5 months. So 5 months to the convention. So we'll have 5 months. Good news is we are doing everything we can right now so that by the time we get to that point in time, we'll have most of the convention put together. This is our goal. When we discuss this with our staff, this is what we talk about more often. What can we do now so we hit the ground running come, spring.
Yeah. Late winter, spring.
Yeah, late winter. Yeah.
You know, so I mean, we do feel for all events right now. It's got to like be such a challenge right now to put anything on or not put anything on actually. So it's, many events had to cancel or postpone, and like us, and mind you, it's not just a matter of an event moving its dates. It's a livelihood for many companies and businesses and organizers. So it is quite a feat to not have it, maybe not just 1 year, but 2 years, because some people it'll be 2021, and the last time they had an event would have been 2019. So even 2018 maybe, because they couldn't do it like the end of last year or something. So it's a challenge. So and that it really hurts the industry. So we are all for anyone that will be able to continue. We give props to anyone that is still out there trying their best to make it happen. Just like you guys just trying to survive. Everyone, you can't imagine, like, everyone is in on this together. Whether you're an artist, vendor, a fan that's coming, whether you're an organizer like us, whether you're the city itself, I mean, the convention center, all these companies and people that come together, a hotel business, everything, so it's hurting everyone. So it's not just one individual, it's not one group, it's everybody. That's why it's called a global pandemic. So everyone is affected by this one way or another. And as you know, I mean, news across our borders and across the continent, there's still many challenges to overcome. So we feel for everyone that is in the event business, and we encourage you to make things happen for your organization, for the fans, for everyone that's involved.
Yes. Oops, sorry, I think there was a little bit of lag there. I think it should be fixed by now.
Welcome to those who are just joining us. It is our Thursday stream, and we are live again, once again. Please make sure to hit the like, share, and subscribe.
Correct. So just some behind the scenes Anime Matsuri news. Starting next week, Wednesdays is when we have our management meetings. We have these meetings once a week. And this is where we keep everyone up to date. There's about 30 people in the management team of Anime Matsuri, what we call the behind the scenes team. And they're the should I say, the different department heads of the departments that we have, and just the people, the staff, on the management level. So these we meet up with them once a week. Now, obviously, we haven't been meeting all this
In
time.
person.
The last time we met was back in March, April,
Something like that.
back then, and we had to suspend in-person meetings because of the pandemic. But and we've been just meeting on Zoom. We've been doing this, and but starting next week, we are going to slowly start
Bring us together.
meeting in person. We'll start with a few people, and then just slowly expand.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but we have to meet in person because we have to get the convention. There's certain things for the event that we just can't do online. We have to get in person, kind of brainstorm, put our heads together. And this just the dynamic of in
Training
person.
also?
Correct. The dynamic of doing things in person is just
Different.
different, and there's many things. We've done everything that we can do online. So now it's time to just slowly take the next steps forward and meet in person. And we're lucky enough to have the HQ. This is where we meet. So we're starting next week. We're having the Wednesday meetings in person, and we're looking forward to that. It's actually pretty exciting. It's been a while. We actually care for our staff.
Oh my God, we love seeing them together with us. So
Yeah, besides staff, I mean, we're like a family. You're like family and friends. So just meeting up, raise everyone's spirits.
different, yeah.
Yeah, we just isolating yourself is can take a toll on you.
Mentally and physically.
So I'm sure some people
We'll be
love love being alone, love being isolated, but some people don't, and they don't
can't.
do very well.
I can't.
For example, me, I sometimes I like being alone. I like just isolating myself and just being in my own space
Especially with
and
Ghost of Tsushima.
brainstorming. But sometimes I have to have people around me, especially when we talk about different parts of the convention. It's done much better with people where we can just take take a piece of paper and start drawing diagrams and schedules and layouts.
It's different, putting it against the camera here. You guys know it's different on here than in-person convention. Okay? That's how it is with us. Would you rather do a live panel or see something virtual? So we understand it is, quite different, and that's why we also as organizers need it. We need that immediate feedback and interaction. So that live experience is completely different. Don't you agree?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The convention center is slowly getting back to business. When I say slowly, I mean
Very.
slowly
Baby steps.
getting back to business. They have in the General Assembly, if you guys are familiar, if you've been to the convention center, on the third floor is the General Assembly. This is where we had last year. We had the what do we have in General Assembly?
Well, we used to have the.
Oh, the Hentai Fest. That's right.
Yeah.
It has a stadium seating, right?
We
Not
used to have the cosplay contest in there too.
well, that was a long time ago.
time ago.
But so we're not talking about B3. We're talking about the General Assembly. They have redesigned the General Assembly. For now, it's like a studio where companies can rent it out to just, I guess, do online
Virtual
presentations, virtual events, and whatnot. That's what they're doing there. I mean, it's pretty much the only area that's open in the GRB to the public for now.
Yeah.
For now.
But not really to the public. You have to have, be registered, basically.
Well, correct. I mean, you can actually rent that
Oh yeah,
space
yeah.
out.
You can
is what
rent
I'm
the
trying to say.
space out if you want to host something, and if you want to do something online for your particular fan base or group or clients. So Yes, General Assembly, third floor, third level of the convention center, and of course, there's no like audience. It's just virtual.
Correct, correct. So it's a skeleton crew,
Mm-hmm.
but it gives people the option to
Mm-hmm.
host virtual events if they want to. For now,
Yeah. We're so fortunate that we have the HQ and we have the means to do this like this. We have the equipment, we have the streaming capabilities and all the techie stuff. A lot of companies were not prepared to ever do something like this. So we understand, and that's why our convention center was able to convert this into. They said actually it's going to be a permanent thing to have that kind of setup. But for us, when come the convention, we're going to make that a panel room basically for
uh,
certain events.
correct. So we're still there's going to be some minor changes to the George R. Brown Convention Center
Yes.
come July next year.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on what those changes are, we've seen what the General Assembly looks like. We're trying to figure out how that can work with what we're doing, our layout, and to have a panel room there or to have presentations. We're not sure
Yeah.
exactly what we need to move around. Last year we had the Hentai Fest over there. We also had some panels, the bigger panels we had over there.
There's different lighting and equipment
Correct.
there now, so it's gonna be actually it might be feasible for us to do certain things in there. So we'll see. We'll see. Depends on our lineup for programming.
Correct. So on the third floor, we still have the B3, which is the exhibit hall on the third floor. That's where we have the cosplay contest. That's where we have the Nerdlesque and the fashion show. The bigger events that are seated
Right.
are up there. The B3 exhibit hall B3 has about 6,000
Seated.
seated.
Actually
6,000.
more. 7.
Well,
With the
6,000 seated
bleachers.
with the bleachers, but if you add seats on the floor and whatnot, then it becomes more.
Yeah.
That's where we have the Sailor Moon musical, and that's where we host any kind of event that you watch while you're seated.
Yeah.
The reason for this is because back a few years ago, we hosted. I mean, we've done a lot of stuff up
Yeah.
there. We've done concerts. We've even had. There was a year we had Club AM up there. The downside to that is
Not good in B3 anymore.
correct.
It's too-
when
it's too heavy.
when we got to a certain level or a certain number of attendees,
Mhm.
when the audience in that room got to a certain number, and you combine this with music and people dancing, the entire third floor was, and I'm not kidding you, this thing was literally
Moving.
vibrating. It was moving, and not just a little bit, just quite a bit. It was actually worrisome. So we stopped doing any kind of jumping and dancing and whatnot on the third floor. We moved everything to the first floor. So our concerts,
Yeah.
the J-rock, J-pop, anything, K-pop. This is all in Exhibit Hall A, which is the hall on the far left if you look at the convention center. That's where we have everything.
Towards the Marriott.
Correct. Now this hall, there is no seating here. This is all standing. All our concerts are standing only. We figured people that want to go to concerts don't want to sit down. They want to, have fun. They want to jump up and dance and whatnot. This is seating only. Sometimes, depending on the event, depending on the concert, we might add some seatings for maybe Super Pass or VIPs. But we realize that most people do not want to sit down. People want to
Even
want to
when
stand
there's
up.
chairs, when I have a chair, on the side of the stage, I don't sit. I am, pumped and out and about, so inside the crowd. So it's different,
That's correct. So with standing room only, that room can take up to 15,000 people. It is massive, the hall. So that's where our concerts are almost permanently in there, at least until we get to that many people. But it's in there, and everything upstairs in
is a-
B3 is seated.
Yeah.
So it's all seated. The cosplay contest, that's a seated event.
Fashion show.
Fashion show, it's a seated event.
Nerdless.
Nerdless is a seated event.
Hentai.
The
Well,
hentai, well,
we might need.
the hentai fest might move there because next year the hentai fest is being hosted by Kaho Shibuya. We just from the feedback we've got, it looks like it's going to be very, very popular, and she's prepared like this really crazy programming for the hentai fest. So we feel that the General Assembly wouldn't be big enough. General Assembly currently you can seat 4,000 people.
3,600 to be exact.
Well, plus 400 on
plus
the
400
floor.
on the floor, yeah.
So it's 4,000 people.
Yeah, 3,600 seated on the bleachers.
So
on the stadium.
We think we were discussing this. Actually, we're discussing this earlier this year to move the Hentai Fest to B3, where the Nerdlesque is. Mm-hmm. So this is something that will be going on. We've revised our layout somewhat. It's mostly the same of what it was last year, which is what's in the app, but there's some changes, and
we'll adjust accordingly.
Probably. So I think sometime soon, I'm not sure when, hopefully before the end of the year, we will release the new schedule, the new layout.
Layout first, yeah.
And we'll point out what has changed.
Well, by the way, Hall A, I was going to add, Hall A on where the concerts are held, it is a huge hall, 120,000 square feet. So if you were to be standing and fill that, it can stand maybe 12,000 people. That's a lot, guys. That's
comfortably. You can pack more in there.
Yeah, so it's a huge hall. And we pretty much had over 10,000 people normally for Club AM alone. So it is the biggest event at the convention. There's plenty of room still with over 10,000 people.
Yes, correct. Obviously, the attendance of any of the halls, and this goes for any part of the convention center, even the panel rooms, is dependent on how you set up the room. And that is mostly dependent on how the stage is set up. So when the fire marshal comes in, the first thing he looks at is the stage. How big the stage is, how far is it from the back? Those things. Do
you guys know about fire marshals?
Yes, I'm knowing. It's a thing now. I'm sure everyone knows. But at our event, I'm not sure how it is at other events, but at Anime Matsuri, we have fire marshals on standby throughout the entire event.
It has to be.
We do what they call a fire watch. And what that is any of the events, like the concerts, maybe the Nerdlesque, anything that has a lot of people and a lot of audio and video equipment and fog or pyro. Right? Any event like that, which is mostly the concerts or whatnot, the fire marshal has to be on standby, and he's there. And the reason for this is because they turn off the fire system in that hall, like the sprinkler system.
Not the entire building, that particular hall.
Correct. This is so the pyro or the fireworks or what's going on in there. This is so he doesn't set it off, right? But to do that legally, the fire marshal has to be there and on standby. And to have a fire marshal there for that many hours, fire marshals are not cheap. But it must be done. It must be done because that's the best way to do it.
Because we want to give you guys a really awesome experience, and I can't imagine not having a stage with a lot of equipment. You got to have the equipment, and you got to have the audience, and you got to have the vibe. What is the energy of like all these things combining, the music, the fog, the lights and audio, all that stuff. I can't imagine not having that at a convention. And we're in a convention center, so it's a little bit different than if you were to attend a convention that is in a hotel base where we used to be. You know, back then we didn't need it, a fire marshal. We needed a sergeant maybe.
Correct. Well, but still, the everything with the fire marshal isn't very straightforward because you have to submit the plans for the stage, for the room in advance to the fire marshal, and he
yeah.
has to approve them, and then he shows up and then he inspects everything. And there's kind of like a negotiation process because sometimes he would
Permitting.
say things like, well, that right there is a little too close to that, or those, the
speakers and
the fireworks,
Yeah.
those need to move. They're too close to the audience, and there is that always happens during rehearsals. Sometimes, or most of the time, he'll come and look at everything and say, okay, it's okay. Sometimes he'll ask for us to move things around. Usually, where you have the cryojets, the things that shoot the white, it's almost like a white smoke kind of, high pressure. Those things require some big tanks, and those tanks
Oh
we have to
yeah.
put them somewhere, right? So he makes sure those things are secured and checks all the fittings and everything just to make sure everyone's safe. So there's
N2, baby.
and correct, and there's a lot of times that this takes time. So he walks around and he does so we have to schedule a couple of hours just for that. And many times, or sometimes, half of the time, he would ask to test out certain things just to make sure. Try the flames, try the fireworks, try this, try that, just so he can see what it's like, and he can be okay. All right, that's fine. And then he'll sign off. If he's not comfortable with something, he'll say no, or he'll say move it, or he'll say adjust it. So this is all we go through.
So the layout is one thing to get the permitting and to get the fire marshal to be approved to come, and then when you're at all the setup, if he has to adjust it, then the entire production team has to adjust accordingly. So that's a lot of work.
Correct. And that's the same thing outside with the food trucks. So in the food trucks area, where they're on Lamar, right there next to the park, there's a fire marshal on standby because when you have that many food trucks and a bunch of, some of the food trucks use generators, some use electricity, but you have, just because they're close to each other and there's so many of them, there's got to be a fire marshal there. And the fire marshal sometimes would say, oh, you got to move this thing, you got to move that truck, or there's too much here, there's too much there, or so.
Too close.
Correct. But this is a thing. It's a city thing. Obviously, the city wants to make sure that everyone's safe, and there's rules and guidelines for gatherings with that many people. So on different levels, they want to make sure that everyone's safe, and we followed all the guidelines. We do this every year. We have to, right? We're partnered with the city, and we just we want to make sure that everything is as it should be, and safety is paramount. So a little behind the scenes, if I'm sure maybe some people know, maybe some people didn't know,
Yeah.
but I think it's interesting to share some of this information with you guys, so it's as much your convention as it is ours.
And the equipment heats up, So, just like the people at the convention. So it can things can get dangerous, I guess. But we've been fortunate. We've had security and fire marshal and all the permitting possible that can keep us all safe. So that's good.
Correct. Now on the first floor, one of the, I can say that we are very, very lucky for many reasons. Houston is where we live. I love Houston, right? This is a great city. That convention center, the George R. Brown, is an awesome convention center. Not to mention the fact that the size of it, almost 2 million square feet. That's a big convention center. And I am so happy that we have a convention center of that size. Now, if you've been only to Anime Matsuri, or if you've been to different bigger
You've been
conventions,
spoiled, okay?
you might be a little spoiled. There's no lines outside. You don't have to wait outside in the heat. You can imagine July, it's hot.
Dude, the
It's
air
pretty hot.
conditioning inside the convention center is top notch. It is so cool in there. It actually gets cold for us, the staffers. So I'm wearing sweaters and stuff like that sometimes, you know.
Correct.
The cosplay, you're in cosplay and you're good. It's breathable. It's you're mobile and you're not, you know, you're not hot and sweaty.
Not to mention, there's two sky bridges between the convention center and the Hilton Hotel, and one between the convention center and the Marriott Hotel. So if you have a room there, you can literally go back and forth without even stepping outside.
Unless you're going food truck.
I mean, you're in air-conditioned weather, atmosphere throughout, which is fantastic. And no matter how busy it gets, no matter how many people we can pack and whatnot for the event, we can make the lines inside, which is great.
Yeah.
Which is what I think one of the best things. I usually sometimes like that. I mean, sometimes even at the Toyota Center, we've been to different concerts there, and sometimes you got to line up outside. The Toyota Center isn't big enough to have that many people line up in their lobby.
I've seen even like the Rockets play or something like that, and concerts. Everyone's lining up outside. I've been in those lines before. You know, we've seen a few concerts there, and people are lining up outside. So that can be troublesome. So we're so happy that, you know, we have a concourse, you know, when you go into the convention center, it's all, you know, air conditioned and you can just stay there.
And, you know, I'm sure, you know, a lot of us, if it comes down to it, okay, fine, we'll stay out in the heat, right? That's okay. But just imagine if you had kids with you. Just imagine if you were a family and you had, I don't know, 4
children.
Correct. Like, you know, 6, 7, 8-year-olds. Oh my God.
Waiting outside? No.
Yeah, waiting outside in the heat in July?
No.
It can get crazy.
It's not only hot, okay? In July, it's humid in July.
Yes, it is.
So, unlike, you know, like dry places, we don't just get the heat. We get the you know, the humidity too, and it's not happy. It's not a happy time outside too long. So, we're so blessed, seriously, that we have a convention center of this magnitude, of this size, that has the strongest AC.
Correct.
So we love it.
Now, as we mentioned, we've mentioned this before, what we were doing for this year, we were trying to secure Avenida. Avenida is the street between the convention center and Discovery Green Park. That street. Now, that street can be blocked off on both sides, right? So there's no traffic there, and it's just you can have stuff going on there. I mean, at some point, I know sometimes the city itself, they have functions going on that street and whatnot. Now, during Anime Matsuri, we wanted to secure that street for the convention.
Yeah.
So we can move some of our food trucks, or as many of food trucks as possible, from Lamar to Avenida.
Lamar, mind you, is next to Hilton.
Correct. So you can just come out of the convention center on the left side and on the right side. You know, there's seating right there in front. There's that's where the tea house was. It was selling the milk tea.
Beautiful front.
There, and there was seating and whatnot, and then you can have food trucks there also. So there's, I mean, usually people go to Discovery Green just to take pictures.
Yeah.
You know, to the park.
Right outside where the fountain is as well, the beautiful fountain that changes colors. But you literally can just walk across the street without, you know, traffic. So that's the plan.
Yes, that's the plan. It's also safer. We don't, just 'cause there's so many people at the convention, people going back and forth between the park and the convention center.
In your cosplay,
it's just easier, safer to just block off that street. And it makes sense. And see, if the street is blocked off, maybe we can have food trucks there and people can, you know, buy food and Easily, exactly. It's more convenient. More convenient for you. Now, just depending on the length of Avenida that would be made available to us, that we would have, the fire marshal would have to decide how many food trucks can be put there. So there'll probably be food trucks
everybody
on Avenida, and then some more food trucks on Lamar. Currently, I think we have last year we had 12 food trucks.
We have 14.
This year we're going to have 14.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere around there. But the idea is variety. To have as much variety as possible. So we pick the food trucks carefully. We try not to have the same kind of food on two different trucks. So there's dessert trucks and there's all kinds of different foods. And every year there's new trucks that start up.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever we get recommendations,
Yummy, yummy.
we try to be very diverse with the food options that you would
So
have.
we do food trucks can apply, but we ultimately get to decide who gets to be part of it. But definitely there's newcomers, and of course I'm pretty sure there will be after this pandemic. So
Correct. It's been a tough year for food trucks as well.
gotta support them. So this is why it's important for those who don't know our app. You need to download it. We're gonna, of course, update it eventually towards the end of the year, actually, when we start announcing things. And like John mentioned earlier, the layout, we're gonna adjust the layout and put it on the app as well. That is very important because everything we do next year is gonna be through the app in terms of the schedule. You guys, it's accessible to you guys, and not only that, you get to see. I think we have the most complete app. You get to see everyone that's going to be participating: vendors, artists, food trucks, panelists, guests, all these things. So and we can push notify through your phone. So it's great that we have this app now that's very complete and beautiful. And it shows you even like in detail where everything is located. So that's what's cool about it.
Correct.
So food trucks, yeah.
Correct. Starting, we are almost finalized with our new layout for the vendors and for the artists for 2021. And as soon as we're done with that, hopefully coming up here, not too far from now, we will launch we will open the Eventbrite for artists and vendors. Right, this should be it should be pretty awesome. Now we've got emails inquiries asking when are we opening the Artist Alley for 2021. This should be pretty soon. We're almost done finalizing, moving things around, so knowing exactly what we have left. We moved almost every artist from 2020 to 2021. So we're checking to see what we have left, what space there is, and then as soon as we figure that out, then we can open up the spots.
Remember, we moved artists.
Correct.
We moved artists from the back of C&D, of Hall C&D, to now they have their own hall in Hall B. So, and they're not tables anymore, they're booths. I don't think any convention out there has given their artists a booth like this. So booth space like this, and in its own hall like this. Again, that hall is about 110,000 square feet or something like that.
Yeah, the difference is between what we call a table and what we call a booth. Table, when we say an artist alley table, it's a table like this one. It's like a 6-foot table, and that table comes with 2 chairs, and that's it. That's what you get for the artist alley. But now we moved everyone into Exhibit Hall B, and we made the entire Exhibit Hall B the artist alley. And instead of tables, just a 6-foot table with 2 chairs, we turned everything into 10 by 10 booths. So an artist gets an 8-foot table with 2 chairs, but they get a 10 by 10 foot space.
Yeah. Which they love, they need, just for themselves.
Correct. So the tables are bigger and they have a big space, and they can put behind them, they can put a display or a grid wall, and they can hang their products and whatnot.
And
so they have
skirted,
Yeah, exactly. So there's pipe and drape in the back and on the sides, so they have more room to, set up their little area. And I think there's how many? 250 booths, something like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
I thought we may need to move it to 300. I think because of the some of our guests and the way that we laid it out for like live drawings, and we have a mini stage and stuff like that.
no, correct.
Right? So
Yeah.
all that and now it's like not just like just rows, it's like blocks.
Yeah, because we have quite a bit of international artists
Mhm.
coming that were supposed to come in 2020, which are now coming in 2021, which is it's actually,
Mangaka and all
yeah,
that.
the
Yeah.
most international artists we've ever had
Mhm.
are on the Artist Alley schedule for next year.
I mean, we're talking about diversity also in overseas guests in the artist alley alone.
Yeah, so we made an area in the middle. It's just this. It goes from the bottom, I guess, all the way to about 2/3
Of the hall.
of the hall, and this is for the international artists, and they're coming from just different, not just Japan,
Europe.
yeah, China, Europe. There, it was, it would have been exciting to see. Well, I mean, hopefully, everyone can
Still
make it
make
back.
it, yeah. But that's the plan. I mean, that entire middle part is converted to like the guests and pros that we have coming, and then we have a stage where they can do live drawings, and have like their own like Q&A stuff like that. That for our specific guests that want to host or share something live to everyone. So that's our plan for Hall B. But yeah, it's totally different than what our artist alley would have been in the past. It's very dynamic and interactive
Yes,
for next year.
correct. And this year would have been the year that we were going to debut that.
Yeah,
But now,
that new artist alley.
now it's going to be 2021. So we're excited. We have most of it down. We have just the layout and the logistics, the arrangement of everything is pretty much set in stone. It's just a little bit of details here and there we're trying to fine tune. And as soon as we're done, we'll open up whatever spots we have left. Then we can sell those spots and fill up the room. And that would be the Artist Alley for 2021. We'll update the app, and then we'll put out the list for everyone to see. And we've actually had a pretty good few months just connecting with artists.
Oh yeah,
We've brought artists on AM Connect,
highlighting
them on the stream, and it's giving us the opportunity to meet them and see what they sell and what kind of artists they are and their talents. And
Yeah.
I tell you, very talented.
We have such an
talented people.
amazing artist alley. A group of, I mean, there's newcomers that are brilliant, and there's still veterans that are amazing in their artistry. So it's so cool to see so many diversity within our artist alley, and all ages, like different age groups. So whether you're a grandparent or like a child, there's that for everyone. And even our daughter wants to be part of the artist alley one day. So we welcome everyone and all ages to our artist alley. So you're gonna find some really amazing talent in there, and you just got to support everyone next year. So all I have to say is you got to save up. Save up, put some money aside for AM to support our vendors and industry that's coming and artists.
Yes, yes, that is right.
Gosh, you guys are kind of quiet today.
I know. And remember, if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them as
Best we can.
yeah, as best as we can during the stream. Now, I'm sure everyone here has been to Anime Matsuri already. Now, remember on the concourse on the first floor where registration is, that area that extends from Exhibit Hall E all the way to A,
Oh yeah.
right? This is where we have our registration. And the entrance to the exhibit hall, which is where we have our opening ceremony, kind of, that's where the mayor cuts the ribbon. That's in front of exhibit hall C,
Mm-hmm.
right? There. Now we are doing so. Last year we did the whole thing. Like we started this 2 years ago, but last year there was a ton of people there, and as you know, at 11, even though the convention opens at noon on, well, the exhibit hall opens at noon on
Yeah.
Friday. We
11:30 for Super Pass
Well, yeah,
holders.
we let the Super Pass holders in half an hour
Before
early
general.
before everyone else goes in. So the Super Pass holders have half an hour to go in there, and I'm not sure exactly what they can do in
Daily,
half an
by the
hour,
way.
but
Oh yeah, they can do a lot. They can
well,
go to straight to Godzilla, for example, or GSR, or
correct.
AM booth to get some awesome goods first, and then they can go there about their way.
Correct. So Super Pass, all of the Super Pass get to go in 30 minutes early at 11:30, and they have
Yeah.
30 minutes, and then at noon it opens up for the general public, and everybody goes in there and to different parts. Now, of course, there's different booths there that have exclusive merchandise. Last year we had Godzilla, and we had some of the other stores like Automate uh,
Yowie.
the Yaoi store, and a bunch of other booths that came from Japan that had exclusive merchandise,
Yeah.
and everybody went there, and that stuff sold out really quick. This year, we have a lot more than we had last year. Now, in addition to Godzilla, we have Good Smile Racing, and just seeing how Good Smile Racing sold when we had our a little event here at HQ, and the people that just the
Not
few
even an
people,
event, just a visit.
yeah, just to visit people that came to see the car, that were lucky enough to come see the car and to come and buy stuff. I mean, it all the put it this way, almost everything that we had, that we would have had for the convention, for that many people, we're talking about 40,000 people, the amount of goods that we would have had at the convention, we had here, sold out in one weekend by the however many people came to HQ, and it wasn't even that many. It just shows you how
Not many at all, actually. Yeah.
correct. So I think those are the things that sell out first, and people want to go. They want to go get the goods that they wouldn't normally be able to find or buy anywhere else.
Yeah.
So Good Smile Racing, Wit Studios, the Ancient Magus Bride, and Vinland Saga, those booths, the Demon Slayer, Godzilla, and actually debuting, which would have debuted this year, in the
Prime One.
well, no, not even Prime One. I'm talking about K Books' hentai store.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
that would have been a first for AM this year. But so this is being moved over to next year. So the hentai. So in addition to the yaoi store, there's the hentai store. There's an actual entire area called Kabukicho, that all the 18 plus vendors and exhibitions and stores are in there. And the reason for that is you get carded to just go in there, so each vendor doesn't have to hide their stuff, right?
Yeah. Usually vendors that have 18 plus content have to have all kinds of signage and stuff, and sometimes it's blocked. But we created an actual block of that space. So it's about how many square feet? 100,000.
It was no, 10,000, 100 feet by 100 feet. Yeah, 10,000.
Oh, 10,000, sorry.
10,000 square feet. Which
Oh
is,
yeah, sorry. 10,000, you're right.
yeah, which was it's a pretty big area, but the entire area is enclosed, and you get carded to go in there. It's 18 plus only. So that's that. So that's coming back next year.
Well, it never debuted yet.
Well, exactly, never debuted.
So that's in the Shibuya Crossing Hall E. And Shibuya Crossing we started last year, which was a huge success. We got inspired to bring Shibuya Crossing literally on our floor to make it into our car show space. And it was a huge hit. So we brought that back, and we added Kabukicho area, and that is still happening. So Shibuya Crossing, you're gonna see some really awesome new car designs and stuff, and GSR is part of it, and Godzilla is part of it, which they have much bigger space, by the way, than 2019 Godzilla. that space is like probably 3 times the size. Yeah. So
Correct.
that means there's a lot coming for Godzilla.
Yes, there's a lot coming that we can't wait to
Yeah.
announce. And we hope in addition to everything we've said, in addition to everything that we were planning for 2020, there was a bunch of things we were planning for 2021. And so in addition to those things, we have new vendors and new stores that are going to debut at the event. It will be the first time in Texas
Oh yeah.
for a lot of them, and it's pretty exciting. And as you know, we are going to do. We're gonna do everything we can to see if we can get Square Enix over here to Anime Matsuri. It's been a long time coming. Well, but we'll do our best. Nothing is confirmed yet. We've just opened some discussions, and we'll see how that goes. After all, somebody's planning a Final Fantasy wedding at the event next year, so it should be pretty exciting.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I'm excited to cosplay as well. So next year, I had to cosplay so many characters I want to do next year, guys. Speaking of which, you guys should be definitely working on your cosplays. You guys were supposed to debut it at AM 2020 in August anyway. So I hope that you get a chance to finish up and be ready for November 1st, which is the cosplay gathering on AM Connect. Okay? So you guys need to do it. But I can't wait. We haven't had a wedding in a long time at AM. Since 2015. So it'll be 6 years later to have a wedding at AM.
Well, all the weddings that dodged the pandemic are going to happen next year. So we expect a lot of weddings.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's some. It was quieter weddings this year. But yeah, we've had actually many requests for weddings at AM. But we want to be able to host the right kind of wedding theme and stuff like that. So we just didn't want you guys to. By the way, if you do plan on having a wedding or some kind of big personal event at AM, talk to us because you can't just host it at the convention. We'd like to know so that we can put it in our programming if necessary, so that you can share among your fellow geeks. Okay. All right.
Okay, that's it for our stream tonight. Well, it's already an hour.
Almost an hour already. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
But by the way, we didn't talk about the biggest news. PS5. What are you getting?
Well, speaking of gaming, actually, the to set like a foundation for gaming, this year when we got closer to the event, and we figured, oh well, we're still the pandemic was here. We decided not to do gaming this year. That's because of the pandemic, but hopefully the pandemic will be gone, coronavirus be gone next year in July, and we can get back to hosting gaming. We love to host gaming, but gaming is one of those things, like people share controllers and whatnot, so we got to make sure it's it's all good. But
And you gotta interact with people during.
but next year it's going to be next generation stuff. Exactly. PlayStation, Xbox, and I mean,
so many games.
Yep.
So many cool games coming out, especially on PS5.
Yeah, so all the next generation consoles will be there. Come check them out. Come play with your friends, try them out. Everything will be, I guess it'll still be new. Well, November, what is that? Like
November 12th, guys.
8 months? 8 months on the market. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so what are you guys getting? More PlayStation or Xbox fans in the house here?
And if you are getting PlayStation, are you getting digital version on the PS5 or console version on PS5? Let me know. Personally, I don't. There's a $100 price difference. Okay, on this PS5 situation. I would just go with console. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Okay, guys. That's it for the stream tonight. We will be back this weekend, I guess, with AM Connect. Is there anything going on this weekend? Do you know?
Well, we did get a message earlier that unfortunately we do need to update you real quick. We're gonna update it tomorrow, but we had to do a couple of postponements because of the Yaoi panel specifically. Unfortunately, Nerd Snow had a personal death in the family, so she can't host one of the Yaoi panel itself this weekend. So prayers to her and her family, but we will adjust the Connect schedule by tomorrow. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And thanks, guys, for joining us. We will see you. If we don't see you this weekend, we will see you on Thursday
next week.
Next week.
And let us know, by the way, in our official group or on our social media, if you'd like us to cover certain aspects of the convention or topics that you would like to hear from us. Okay, guys, take care, stay healthy and well, and we'll see you next time. Always stay nerdy. Bye.
Peace.